So I was very intrigued by the chairman's chart earlier about productivity. And it shows, as I read the numbers, and also as I read the numbers that you cited, Mr. Dube, that if we just started in 1960, not the high water mark for minimum wage, but a good time on minimum wage, if we started in 1960 and we said that as productivity goes up, that is, as workers are producing more, then the minimum wage is going to go up the same. And if that were the case, the minimum wage today would be about $22 an hour. So my question, Mr. Dube, with a minimum wage of $7.25 an hour, is what happened to the other $14.75? It sure didn't go to the worker.
Thanks for the question. That's correct. Since early 70s, what we have seen is a divergence in the prosperities of different sections of our population. So, for instance, had the minimum wage kept pace with productivity since 1960, you're correct, it would have stood around $22 an hour today. Now, the answer to your question, who got the other $14, we can answer with the following comparison. Had the minimum wage grown at the same pace at incomes going to the top 1% of the taxpayers, the minimum wage would have stood at $33 an hour before the recession in 2007.
Dr. Dube, in the studies of what happens when minimum wages have been raised, and you've done the county-to-county matches, were restaurants included in the employers in the measurement of whether or not people were laid off?
Restaurants were one of the primary samples that we looked at because of the high incidence of minimum wage workers. And again, restaurant employment in response to the kind of minimum wage changes did not respond on average. Now, again, is it possible that a single employer didn't lay some people off? Is it possible some employer didn't actually expand? That is difficult to say. The point I'm making is on aggregate in the restaurant industry for the kind of minimum wage changes we saw, we did not see employment change noticeably.
Okay. During my Senate campaign, I ate a number 11 at McDonald's many, many times a week. And I know the price on that one, $7.19. According to the data on the analysis of what would happen if we raised the minimum wage to $10.10 over 3 years, the price increase on that item would be about 4 cents. So instead of being $7.19, it would be $7.23. Are you telling me that's unsustainable?
Senator Warren, not all restaurants are created equal. I'm in the full-service restaurant business. McDonald's has efficiencies, and they operate completely differently than I do. I have many jobs that pay well above the minimum wage. We have a retirement plan. We offer health insurance to our salaried employees. So my business is a little different. I can't raise a 4-cent price. I mean, I don't operate like a fast food restaurant. So I would hope that you at least appreciate the distinction.
So, well, I do appreciate the distinction, and I'm not going to be in the business of being McDonald's representative, but I think they would talk about also having some higher paid jobs and some opportunities for management and advancement as well. But I get your point. Maybe it's only 4 cents on $7.19. But if your entrees are $14.40, we'll see how fast I can do the math. Are you telling me you can't raise your prices by 8 cents?
You know, it's typically when costs rise, we don't actually raise it just 4 cents. We might actually go a little higher. It has an inflationary effect on the economy. So you may actually be taking away the money you just gave that employee through the minimum wage increase and raise prices throughout the economy.
I have to say, you've now switched your argument from what it was going to do to your business to what it's going to do to the economy. And I think, Dr. Dube, you've looked at the inflationary effects of increasing the minimum wage. Can you just give us a quick summary on those data?
I think it's uncontroversial amongst economists that a minimum wage increase of this sort would not have a noticeable impact on the overall price level because it's just the math doesn't add up. The number of people who are getting the raises is not enough for it to show up in some kind of a wage price spiral. So the effects on overall price level, very small.
Thank you very much.